What is going on, people? TripleM back again with another video. It's daily dose of football content, and today I've got a very positive update for you guys. As confirmed by Erik ten Hag earlier in his press conference ahead of the Manchester derby, not only have Anthony Martial and Marcus Rashford returned to contact training with Manchester United, but apparently Anthony Martial has been in training pretty much the whole week. So that was a huge bombshell that Erik ten Hag dropped, and honestly, I did not expect it at all because we have not seen any media coverage of this. We have not seen any photos or any video footage in training of Anthony Martial being integrated with the first team and actually having contact training. So I was under the impression that there was no way in hell that he's going to start on Sunday come the Manchester derby. And on the other hand, he also confirmed that Marcus Rashford has been back in training. Now, he didn't specify whether or not Rashford has been here the whole week. He did with Martial, he didn't with Marcus Rashford. So it'll be interesting to see if Marcus Rashford gets displaced by Anthony Martial or Rashford continues to start up front. I assume it's going to be the latter because Rashford has earned it. But before we talk about Rashford, let's talk about Martial for a bit, because I said after preseason, based on the preseason performances and just based on his profile of player, based on how Erik ten Hag likes to play, that I thought the best possible candidate up front is Martial. It's not Ronaldo, it's not Rashford, and it certainly isn't Anthony Elanga. It is Anthony Martial. And I stand by that. I still stand by that. Yes, there is no sample space of games for me to prove that. There is no evidence of competitive men's football for me to prove that. This is just a hunch. This is just an opinion. This is just a theory of mine based on my knowledge of Anthony Martial and based on my analysis of him as a player, as well as Erik ten Hag as a manager. Even though Rashford has played well, and we'll talk about him in a moment, I think that Anthony Martial offers a lot more than Marcus Rashford. I think as far as being a number 9 in the 10x system, Martial is a far superior player with his back to goal. We know what he's capable of technically. We know how many fouls he can win, how many free kicks he can win in key areas for Manchester United, because much like Rashford, he's got that explosive pace. He's got that intelligent movement, and he seems to be a magnet for fouls. But on top of that, he is so good at bringing other people into play. And when Anthony Martial plays at his best, it feels like the team is a lot more fluid. And so I would like to see him come back into the team. Now, is he going to play in the Manchester derby? I personally wouldn't. I wouldn't start him. I wouldn't disrupt the flow of the team. I wouldn't disrupt the momentum. And if you're a manager who genuinely picks players based on merit and looks at the situation as it is now, as opposed to just having blind loyalty in someone that played well in preseason, then you've got to be fair and say, Rashford, you deserve this game up front. You did well against Arsenal, who are on form, one of the best teams in the league. You deserve this opportunity against Manchester City, right? But let's talk about Rashford, right? Let's talk about Rashford. He's earned his spot on the team. A lot of people are starting to change their mind. What about me? Am I changing my mind of Marcus Rashford? Not yet. Not yet. 7 games in the Premier League is not going to change my opinion of a player, simply because for 2 main reasons. One, it's too small of a sample space. Compared to how many bad games he's had, 7 good games is not enough. That's number 1. Number 2, I do notice a bit of an issue with Marcus Rashford. Now, I was doing a lot of deep diving, okay, in terms of his statistics. I went on FBref and I looked at everything else outside of just goal scoring and assisting, which is one of the main things he's contributed to the team, and rightfully so as a number 9, right? Obviously. But just in terms of the evolution of Erik ten Hag's system, right? Because we're not always going to play on the counter-attack. We're not always going to have the luxury of exploiting space in behind and using Marcus Rashford's explosive plays, blah, blah, blah. We're not always going to have that luxury. Eventually, we're going to have to play against low blocks. Eventually, we're going to have to play against teams who don't give us the space to play a long ball into Marcus Rashford. We're going to need a striker who can hold up the ball, a striker who's good with his back to goal, a striker who's good at receiving the ball and turning on the half turn, or alternatively, holding it up for another person to come and help him. We're going to need a striker who knows how to get the intricate 1-2 plays between Sancho, Anthony, or whoever else is playing out wide and whoever's playing in the 10 with him. We're going to need a striker who's on the same wavelength as those players. And at the moment, I feel like Marcus Rashford isn't there yet. Now, that doesn't mean he won't get there. And I hope he does. I really hope he does, because if Marcus Rashford can address those issues of his game, I will 100% make an apology video saying, actually, we shouldn't have sold this guy. I was wrong. He's the right player for Manchester United, and he is the guy going forward. Under those conditions, I will admit that I was wrong about Marcus Rashford. But until that point comes, I'm not going to change my mind. I don't think these performances are sustainable, because when you apply the context of the teams we played against, how those teams have played, how those teams have defended, the weaknesses that those teams that those teams allowed us to exploit, I think even though Marcus Rashford has played well, it's still not convincing enough to say we're fine. We don't need to sign a striker next summer. We're fine. We don't. It's not the end of the world if Martial gets injured, because remember, Rashford can play up front. I'm not there yet. But anyways, I don't want to take anything away from Marcus Rashford. He won the Player of the Month award in the Premier League, so well done to him. Props to him. Fantastic. Hopefully he can keep that up. And in terms of the Manchester Derby itself, listen, I'm not one who likes doing preview videos. I prefer to talk about the game after it's happened, so I'm not going to bore you guys with score predictions and predicted lineups and all that nonsense, but I am going to say that I'm feeling excited. Not out of disrespect to Man City, not out of blind optimism and blind faiths because we've won 4 games in a row, but rather out of curiosity. I want to see what Erik ten Hag is going to do. He's about to get a very big test. It's almost like a final exam. It's not really a final exam because it's only his first season, but it's a big exam. It's a big test for him. How is he going to approach it? How is he going to answer the questions that we have as a fan base? Who is he going to start? What's that team lineup going to look like? And more importantly, how will we set up against Manchester City? Because the obvious thing and the obvious game plan here is to hit them on the break and exploit them with the pace in behind. But the thing is, with Jack Grealish, João Cancelo, Kyle Walker, and who else? Is it Mahrez who plays out wide for them? I don't know, because City have so many good players, it's hard to keep up. They are getting better at retaining the ball. They are making it difficult for teams to hit them on the break. And so we're going to have to be very tactically aware of what Pep Guardiola is doing if we really want to exploit him. This isn't Pep Guardiola of 2 years ago, who got beat by Oli 3 times at the Etihad in 3 seasons back to back, right? This isn't that Pep Guardiola. This is a Pep Guardiola who's evolved. This is a Pep Guardiola who's matured. This is a Manchester City team, more importantly, that's matured and evolved. There's a lot of new players in that team. So this isn't just going to be as easy as, just boot it long and hope that Marcus Rashford can get an easy one-on-one versus Edison. It's not going to be that simple, in my humble opinion. I think that Manchester City are not going to be that naive to just leave the back door open. They have plans in place to try mitigate getting hit on the break, especially against us. The last time we played against Manchester City under Solskjaer, it was very clear that we were set up to hit them on the break, and they didn't let us. They pumped us 4-1 at the Etihad, and they beat us 2-0 at Old Trafford, and they did it by just being boring, being vanilla with their gameplay. They did not allow us to hit them on the break. They were just like, all right, you want to sit back? We'll just hold the ball. We'll hold the ball. We'll turn Old Trafford into a training session. Oh, you want to sit back, right? Sit back. Have fun. That's what they did. And I fear that that's going to happen again if we just go with this one-dimensional plan of trying to hit a 40-yard long ball to Marcus Rashford. It's not sophisticated enough. Gone are the days in the Premier League of being a one-trick pony. You need more nuance. You need more of a plan. You need more, what's the word? You need to be more sophisticated with your tactics. So it's going to be interesting to see what Erik ten Hag does, and I cannot wait. Win, lose, or draw, I'm not going to be too upset. Unless we get embarrassed, unless we get pumped like 5-1 or 4-1, I'm not going to be too upset at a loss this weekend. I'm looking at the performance. I'm looking at the evolution of Erik ten Hag. I'm looking at the evolution of some of these players. I'm looking at the bigger picture here. That's where I'm at. Anyways, I'm going to end the video. If you enjoyed that, please don't forget to leave a like on the video to support the channel and for the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. Of course, don't be shy in the comments down below, only if you want to. But it's been your boy TripleM. I'll catch you tomorrow. Peace.